Listen up, Eagles Nation, because we need to talk about what's happening with our franchise quarterback right now, and why you need to keep the faith, because this is not the time to panic. This is the time to rally behind our guy Jalen Hurts and show the entire NFL what Philadelphia is made of, because we don't fold when adversity hits. We stand up and we fight harder than ever before. And that's exactly what this team is going to do. Look, the early reports about Jalen struggling and Saquon not being productive sound alarming. I get it. I really do. But here's what you need to understand about this Eagles squad. We're defending Super Bowl champions, and you don't just forget how to dominate overnight. We absolutely dismantled the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl likes, the same Chiefs that everyone thought were invincible, and we showed the entire world what happens when you give Philly a chance to prove the doubters wrong. And that same mentality, that same fire, that same championship DNA is still coursing through the veins of every single player in that locker room right now. The narrative that's being pushed about Jalen Hurts struggling to throw downfield is frankly disrespectful to everything this man has accomplished for this franchise. Let's not forget that Jalen led us to back-to-back NFC championship games. He's a two-time Pro Bowler. He's got MVP caliber talent, and most importantly, he's got the heart of a champion that cannot be measured in statistics alone. This young man has proven time and time again that when the lights are brightest and the stakes are highest, he elevates his game and delivers for the birds. And there's absolutely no reason to believe he won't do it again this season, because that's just who he is. That's what champions do. And speaking of champions, let's talk about Saquon Barkley for a second, because calling him one of the least productive backs in the league after just a few games is absolutely insane. This is a generational talent we're talking about here. A running back who has the ability to change the complexion of a game with one explosive, carry one cutback move that leaves defenders grasping at air. We brought Saquon to Philadelphia for moments exactly like this, for times when we need someone to step up and carry the load, and trust me when I say that back is going to explode sooner rather than later, because elite players don't stay quiet for long. They find ways to impact games, and Saquon is going to remind everyone why he's considered one of the most dangerous weapons in the entire NFL. You want to know what the real story is here? It's that this team is still finding its rhythm, still figuring out how to maintain that championship-level consistency over a full season. And that's normal. That's actually expected after winning it all, because every single opponent is bringing their absolute best effort against us. Every week, teams are game planning specifically to stop what we do best. They're throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at our offense and our defense, because, beating the Super Bowl champs is the ultimate prize for everyone else in this league. But here's the beautiful part about being an Eagles fan. We thrive in this environment. We get better when people doubt us. We get stronger when adversity strikes. And this team is about to show everyone exactly why we're still the team to beat in the NFC. The chemistry between Jalen and his weapons is still there. The offensive line is still one of the most physical units in football. Our defense still has game wreckers at every level. And Nick Sirianni has proven he knows how to make adjustments and get this team firing on all cylinders when it matters most. Remember last season when people said, we couldn't beat the Chiefs? Remember when the so-called experts picked against us in that Super Bowl? And what happened? We went out there and dominated. We showed the world that when this team is locked in and playing Eagles football, there's literally no stopping us. And that's exactly what's about to happen again. The offensive struggles we're seeing early on are temporary growing pains, nothing more and nothing less. This is a coaching staff that won a Super Bowl just months ago. They know how to scheme guys open. They know how to get the ball in the hands of playmakers. And they know how to make in-game adjustments that swing momentum in our favor. Kevin Patullo is working with Jalen to unlock even more potential in this offense. And once those pieces start clicking together, once the timing routes are crisp, and the protection is sound, and Saquon is hitting those holes with that explosive burst we all know he has, this offense is going to be absolutely unstoppable, and the rest of the NFC is going to remember very quickly why they were so scared of us in the first place. The thing about championship teams is they face adversity differently than everyone else. When things get tough, when the stats don't look pretty, when the narratives turn negative, championship teams don't make excuses. They don't point fingers. They don't panic. They buckle down, they get back to work, they trust the process, and they come out the other side even stronger than before. And that's exactly what's happening in Philadelphia right now. This team is going through the fire, and they're going to emerge as a more complete, more focused, more dangerous version of themselves. And when that happens, the rest of the league better watch out. Because playoff Eagles football is coming and it's going to be glorious. Let's also remember the context here. We're in a league where every single team goes through ups and downs over the course of a season. Even the best teams in NFL history have had rough patches, have had games where nothing seems to go right, have had moments where people questioned whether they still had it. But greatness isn't defined by how you perform when everything is easy. Greatness is defined by how you respond when things get difficult. And if there's one thing we know about Jalen Hurts, one thing we know about this Eagles organization, one thing we know about the city of Philadelphia, it's that we always respond, we always fight back, we always find a way to rise to the occasion, and this season is going to be no different. The talent is there, the coaching is there, the championship pedigree is there, and most importantly, the hunger is still there. This team knows what it takes to win at the highest level. They've tasted that ultimate success, and they want more of it. They're not satisfied with just one ring. They want to build a dynasty. They want to establish Philadelphia as the dominant force in the NFL for years to come. And that kind of mentality, that kind of drive, that kind of relentless pursuit of excellence is gonna carry this team through any rough patch, any adversity, any challenge that comes their way. Because when you've climbed the mountain once, you know exactly what it takes to get back to the top. So to all my Eagles fans out there, to everyone who's been riding with this team through thick and thin, to everyone who bleeds midnight green and believes in the power of this roster, I'm telling you right now, do not panic. Do not let the early season noise distract you from the bigger picture. This team is still elite. Jalen Hurts is still that guy. Saquon Barkley is still a game changer. And we're still the defending Super Bowl champions. And that means something that carries weight, that demands respect, and before you know it, this offense is going to click. Everything is going to come together, and we're going to be right back where we belong, competing for another championship and making every other team in the NFC absolutely miserable, because that's what champions do. They figure it out, they adjust, they overcome, and they win. The narrative is going to shift very soon. The highlights are going to start piling up. The wins are going to stack, and everyone who doubted this team is going to look foolish forever, questioning whether the Eagles still had what it takes. Because Philadelphia football is built different. We're tougher, we're grittier, we're more resilient. And we've got a quarterback who's proven time and time again that he's capable of leading this team to greatness. So buckle up, Eagles Nation, because this ride is just getting started, and by the time January rolls around, by the time playoff football arrives, this team is going to be hitting its stride at exactly the right time, just like championship teams always do. Go Birds! Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because you don't want to miss a single update on this team's journey back to championship glory. Hit that like button to show your support for Jalen Hurts and the Birds, and drop a comment below answering this question. Do you think the Eagles' early struggles are just temporary growing pains? Or are you genuinely concerned about this team's ability to repeat? Let me know your thoughts. A for temporary growing pains, or B for genuinely concerned. Fly, Eagles, fly.